The Nintendo Switch and the Steam Deck are two very popular handhelds, with different exclusives and very different price points. But what about the games you play on these consoles? There are quite a few games that are available on both systems, so if you're not too fussed about exclusives, does Steam offer bigger discounts than the eShop? Does the Switch end up saving you money in the long run? This won't be a video about comparing hardware or reviewing sale content. I want to look at titles that are on both systems and how their prices differ during sale periods. I won't be including bigger AAA titles, but smaller games that you might see in a sale and impulse buy. I looked at the first 2 pages of Deku Deal's Hottest Deals section around the beginning of July, then looked up the crossover games on Steam that were in the summer sale that was running about the same time. The prices are just for example, so they might not line up with current numbers or sales that are currently active. So let's have a look at some of the titles and keep track of which store has the lowest prices. Oceanhorn on Steam was released in 2015 and can be found for $5.49, while on Switch it was released 2 years later and is as low as £3.37. Normally you'd think a game that's been out on a console longer would be cheaper than the newer port, but here we're saving £2. Pac-Man World Re-Pac on Steam was released in 2022, a day before the Switch version, and is £3 cheaper in sales on Steam. What a difference a day makes, right? If we look at the regular prices, the Switch version is £10 more expensive than the Steam version, which makes me think of a few questions about Nintendo's price points. Phoenotopia, a game that went way under my radar, was released on Switch in 2020 and hit a low of just over £8. In a change from the norm, the Steam version released a year later, but is over £1 cheaper in sales, and £3 cheaper at regular price. There doesn't seem to be much of a pattern to follow when it comes to release dates and sale prices. Rad was released again with a day between platforms, and at the same base price of $15.99, but the sales have a 5% difference, with the eShop hitting just over £3 and Steam just under £4. Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom had about 6 months between releases, and interestingly, there are mere pennies between their discounted prices. This starts to make me wonder about the existence of Nintendo tax, especially with a £10 difference between the regular prices. Agent A, A Puzzle in Disguise, is an excellent point-and-click game and was released on both platforms at the same time. Again, there's a gap between regular prices, but on the Switch it's cheaper in the sale. Once more, it's just a matter of pennies, but it's interesting to see. Bundles aren't left out of sales and can be a great way to save money if you want to get into a series of games. The Little Nightmares 1 and 2 bundle on Switch is $13.49. While on Steam, it's $15.86. They have the same discount, but on Steam it looks like the bundle is priced strangely, like it's combining content rather than a set bundle price like on Switch. Tales of Symphonia made some waves when it was released on Switch, with longtime fans able to play on modern hardware. $21.59 is a fair sale price for a game that came out earlier this year, But if you weren't too fussed about the remastered aspect, and you just wanted to play the game, it's £3.74 on Steam. Okay, here was a strange one. Mortal Kombat 11 was released the same time on both consoles with the same base price. On Switch, you can get it for $7.99, and the same version on Steam is $3.99. Here's the strange bit. On Steam, you can get the Ultimate Edition, which includes a few extras and expansions, and it's $7.49. So for 50p less, you can get a little more. Furi was released on Steam in 2016, and the Switch version came out in 2018. Again, the Steam version is not only cheaper on sale, but also offers a bundle with extra content for less than the Switch does for the base game. £5 on Steam, £6 for the bundle, and 26p more on the Switch for the base game. This isn't the lowest price though. At £4.49 it beats out Steam. But as you can see from the graph, the lowest price isn't always available. Finally on this list, Darkest Dungeon. There was a 2-year gap between the platform releases, but this is probably the closest the prices can get. 18p sets them apart, with the regular price on Steam being higher than the Switch. So, selective Nintendo tax? What does this show us? Well, depending on your choice of genre, there can be a huge price gap, or the smallest of differences. Steam offers bundles, which sometimes end up being cheaper than the standalone game on Switch, which can make you feel like you're not getting your money's worth from the eShop. A lot of games on the Switch came out the same year or a few years after Steam, so there's the thing of having to wait for a title to be ported over before you can play on Switch. The regular prices of these games fluctuate between stores, and it's not too clear why. If you're looking at the percentage of the discount you're getting, this can be confusing as the Switch might offer a higher discount, but also have the higher regular price. The cost of entry into the world of Steam can be high, but the amount of cheap games you can get in and out of sales does make it feel worth the initial investment. A lot of games are available on Steam before other platforms, so you can usually play on release rather than wait a year or two for a port. There's always a discount or small sale happening randomly on Steam, so you just have to keep an eye out or add a game to your wishlist. This doesn't mean it blows the Switch out of the water though. Nintendo have their own exclusives that can only be played on Switch consoles, if we casually gloss over the emulation aspect of the Steam Deck, and also has physical versions, which, if like me, you prefer to own your game rather than digital permission to play it, can be a huge deciding factor. The sales may feel random and short, which can impact whether you buy something or not. This can also be a good thing, as you know a game that was on sale will come around again and be the same price or lower. You do have to exercise patience with ports and releases though, waiting a few months or years for a game to come to Switch. The sale prices for both consoles are close enough in some instances that it doesn't matter which one you choose. By looking at these 11 games, the Steam Deck does offer value for money in the sales. So you may be saving little bits here and there in the long run, depending on which games you'll buy. It does seem to come down to ecosystems, hardware preference, and willingness to wait for a sale or release. But overall, you won't be missing out on great deals if you pick one console over the other. This was fun! Let's do it again sometime. And if you like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like down below.